Hey guys, it's Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Wishing you a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I hope you're well. I hope you're being safe. Thank you for joining me. It's been a bit of time between drinks. Let's put it that way. It's been a bit of time that I've been live in my kitchen. I have a really good excuse. I'm in the middle of producing cookbook number 6. It's on its way. I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks it is with my designer, with my editor, and going to be with you guys really, really soon. Hasn't got a name yet, but in the meantime, let's just cook some food. Let's make something delicious. The delicious dish we're doing today comes straight from the cookbook, Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. This was the original healthy cookbook, over 100 gut healthy recipes. I'm cooking recipes straight from page 205. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? You can. How gorgeous does that look? It is a teriyaki style chicken and slaw. But the really amazing thing about my teriyaki style chicken and slaw is it has no sugar. Because a lot of the traditional teriyaki sauces, what you will find is they have quite a bit of sugar in there to give it that signature taste. Well, I'm going to teach you guys how to get rid of that sugar. You don't have to have it. It is a simple recipe to make, like literally simple, simple, simple. So simple, in fact, it is one of my go-to 10-minute dishes. When I just want to cook something really quickly, in a hurry, this is what I make. So let's get started. I'm going to pull you down to my bench just a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Come on down here. Let me just make sure it's right. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, see, look at that. Just a little bit. Pulling you down. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. There you are. Yes, you can see what's going on, which is fantastic. So we're going to start off with the chicken. Now, I will be marinating the chicken today in probably my go-to sauce. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know exactly what is in this jar. This is Bridget's sticky sauce. I love saying that in the third person, Bridget's sticky sauce. The recipe, of course, can be found in the yellow book on page 25, and it is literally one of my foundation sauces. So I use this to marinate, I use it to fry, and it's literally, as we know, it's made from gluten-free tamari. Tamari, which is similar to a soy sauce, but a lot better flavor. There's ginger, there's garlic, there's apple cider vinegar in there. It's pretty fabulous. So we're going to be using that as the marinade. And the other thing we're going to be using to make our teriyaki marinade is sweet as fiber syrup. So our fiber syrup there, love the label, that's one of our new labels too, by the way. We'll be using some of our sweet as fiber syrup, and of course, as you guys know, fiber syrup is a prebiotic, which means it feeds your healthy gut bacteria, but it is also incredibly low in calories, virtually hardly any calories it has in it. Not that we count calories at all. And the other really wonderful thing about this, it's got no fat, it's got no sugar, it won't raise your blood glucose or spike your insulin, and it tastes a little bit like candy floss or fairy floss. If you want to purchase some, of course you can get that directly through us, and it is the best quality 100% chicory fiber syrup on the market. Of course, we only do the best here at Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, and you can go to bridgets.shop if you'd like to purchase a bottle of the lovely fiber syrup. So those are the only 2 ingredients we'll be using to make teriyaki marinade, which is fabulous. And we're going to be doing that with chicken today. So the chicken that I'm using, I have in here chicken thigh. You can also use chicken breast, because obviously with the chicken thigh, you can see we've got some intermuscular fat there. So it is a little bit fattier than chicken breast, which has no fat except for the fat is sitting right underneath the skin. So if you want to go completely lean, go with chicken breast and remove the skin. If you don't mind having a little bit of fat in there, and I don't mind it because fat does equal flavor, I am using chicken thigh. The recipe says chicken breast, by the way. So for per person, you're looking at about 125 grams of chicken per person, which is around about 4 to 5 ounces. So I've got enough here for 2. There's 250 grams in my little bowl here. But yeah, you're looking at around about, so there's a bit of fat on that one. So I'm actually going to trim that one down just a little bit. And I'm actually going to give that to the cat. The cat really likes chicken. She gonna love me, let me tell you. So let's go to the cat. And so what you want to do, if you do have particularly fatty thighs, just give it a little bit of a trim, not too much. Just, this is good fat, and as long as we're not having, lots and lots of fat, this is really good for our diet. So I'm going to be just taking, a really sharp knife and slicing the chicken fairly thinly, because we want it to cook quite quickly. That's kind of the idea here, is, you don't want to, see, that's quite chunky, that's quite fat and chunky. You don't want that. Don't want that. You want it to be nice and thin, and you want the slices to be around about the same thickness. So that way they're going to marinate the same, and they're also going to cook the same as well. When I talk about the same, I'm talking about how long it's going to take them to actually cook. And as I was saying before, this is a quick dish. This one doesn't take long to do. Like, while your chicken is cooking, you're making your slaw, and then it's pretty much bing, bang, bong, this dinner done, or lunch done. All right, so get your chicken sliced first. Like I said, I'm not going to throw that away. That is going to go to a very worthy cause. Her name is Willow, and she is a chicken addict. Only raw, though. Only raw. All right, so taking your chicken, we're going to throw it into another bowl. I'm going to pop this over onto the sink. I'm not going to use that board again until I clean it, or that knife. That all goes over here. As you guys know, safety first. Safety first. So we're just going to marinate our chicken now. So for this 250 grams of chicken, I'm just trying to work out what that is. And it's about half a pound. There you go. For our American friends, about half a pound of chicken is going to feed 2 people. Just over 2 people. So if you've got like 2 1/4 people, that's what you can do. All right, when it comes to the sticky sauce, I'm going to be adding in here, for that 250 grams or half a pound, I'm going to be adding in 60 mils, which is 2 ounces of sticky sauce. That's going to go in there first. I'm going to put my spoon in quite happily. And when it comes to our fiber syrup, this is going to give it sweetness. This is going to create a prebiotic as well, but it's also going to help to caramelize the chicken as it cooks. So for 2 people, we're going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of our fiber syrup. Goes in there as well. Give it a bit of a mix, and that is literally marinade done. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do here. And this is what I actually like to do, is when I get home from doing the shopping, I will do things like marinate the meat, and then I'll put it into a little plastic bag. And if I know I'm going to eat it the next day, obviously I'll leave it in there overnight, because the longer you can leave the marinade on the chicken, the more flavor you're going to have. Another really cool thing to do is actually pop this into a little plastic bag, a little ziploc bag, and then pop it in the freezer. And so whenever you need something delicious, tasty, really marinated for you, you just pull your pre-portioned marinated meat out of the freezer, defrost it, and then you can start cooking. It's absolutely brilliant. And of course, you want to, like I said, you want to leave this for as long as possible, ideally overnight. But if you forgot to marinate it, that's okay too. You can just get cooking, or you can leave it for about 20 minutes. If you've got 20 minutes, if you don't have 20 minutes, then you can just get stuck into it. As simple as that. So now that we have our chicken marinating, I'm going to pop it off to the side, because here's one I've done earlier. I mean, same kind of color. It's a little bit deeper. The chicken's taken on a little bit of a different hue, which is really fantastic. It's kind of what we want there. It's taken on a lovely different hue. It's been marinating for around about 2 hours now. Like I said, 24 hours is ideal. But if you don't have the time, then don't worry too much about it. So once you're at this stage, there's 2 ways that you can cook this, 2 amazing ways that you can cook your chicken. Number 1 way, and the way it says in the book, is you pop it onto a tray lined with baking paper, of course, like kind of, take the chicken out and pop it into a single layer on a tray, and then pop it into your oven or your air fryer set at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 390 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's probably going to cook, depending on how thick your slices are, it's probably going to cook in there from anything from 7 to 9-10 minutes in your air fryer or in your oven. Oven might take a little bit longer than your air fryer. Maybe the oven might take you about 12 minutes. But I'm going to teach you another way I like to do it, And not only do I like to do it this way, this is the kids' favorite way for me to do it. This is the way they like it. And what you can see that I have on behind me is I've had this on for a bit, just kind of heating up. This is my trusty, very hot by the way, cast iron frying pan. So one of the best ways, honest to goodness, that you can cook this teriyaki chicken is just pop it into a nice, warm, hot cast iron frying pan. It is really quite amazing. So listen for the sizzle as we go in. As I was saying, it's been on for a bit. Been on for a little bit. I'm laying it out in a single layer as well. Everything's going into a single layer. Oh, the smell. I'll show you. Don't waste that. You see that? Don't waste that. Pour that on. Pour that goodness on. Don't let it go down. I'll show you what it looks like. You ready? Can you see? Single layer. Really important. The smell. Oh my God. The smell already. All right. That's going to be on about a medium to hot flame or temperature. And we're just going to let that do it. So did you notice I've been putting the oil in the pan first? Just stuck it straight in with that marinade. You may have also noticed I haven't seasoned the chicken at all because the tamari and the sticky sauce is such a nice flavor. You don't have to add any additional sodium if you don't want to. You could, of course, add some pepper if you want to as it's cooking away. But we're just going to let, oh, look at the color already. Oh my gosh, can you see? Look at the color already. And it's just after a couple of, it's just after like 30 seconds, 45 seconds in the pan. I better hurry up and get the coleslaw done because this is going to be ready really soon. Okay, so for the coleslaw, let's get a brand new knife. Let's make sure it's nice and sharp as well. So for the coleslaw, it's a really, really simple coleslaw that we're going to be doing today because you want it to take about as long as it takes for your chicken to cook. You don't want to muck around too much. So the very simple coleslaw or slaw that we're making today is going to be, of course, we're going to use a base of cabbage. You could use white cabbage. You could use red cabbage. You could use Napa cabbage, anything you want. But obviously the secret to a good coleslaw is just making sure that you get it nice and thin. So you want the slices of the cabbage to be nice and thin. There is another way that you can do it. I wonder if I've got my little utensil here. Oh, I do. Fancy that. This is another way that you can make sure that it gets really nice and thin as well, is you can take your peeler. I'm using what I call it a wide, you can see it's got a really wide thing across the top. What's that called? A blade. This is a wide peeler. And you can take your peeler and you can do that too. And look how nice and thin you get it. No need for any fancy equipment. I'll cut that bit there. You can just peel away if you really, really wanted to, which is kind of cool as well to know that you have that option. But of course, if all else fails, take your time if you can. Chicken's cooking pretty quickly behind me. And just nice and thinly with the cabbage. This is the base, obviously, of pretty much every single slaw. And portion-wise, you're looking at a generous handful per person, yeah? Maybe even 1.5 handfuls per person of just the cabbage there. Now, here's some cool things that you might want to think about doing. Number one cool thing you might want to think about doing is adding a little bit of fennel to your slaw. I'm just going to turn. Give me a second. I'm just checking out what's happening behind me. Oh my goodness, it's looking very, very good. A little bit longer, thank you. So fennel is a type of bulb, and it can be described as having quite an aniseed sort of a flavor. For some people, it's a bridge too far, eaten raw, because of that aniseedy type flavor. But how you can definitely get around it is whenever you are dealing with something like fennel, let me just chop that little bit off there. Whenever you're dealing with something like fennel, you just do it as thinly as possible once again. Nice and thin. It's got a beautiful texture. And it's very, not only just really crunchy, but quite moist as well. There's a lot of moisture in there. But just make sure if you're ever dealing with fennel, go as thinly as you can. You don't have to put fennel in it, of course. I'm just giving you a few little nice nice little potential additions and ones that I quite favor. So when it comes to fennel, you probably want, a bit of, just a handful per person of the fennel. Gets mixed through the cabbage. Can't even tell the fennel from the slaw now. And I mean, it's as simple as that. The next thing you want to think about, if you want to, of course, there's some fresh herbs. I've got a bit of coriander here, which I'm just going to take a nice bunch of coriander. I've also got some mint leaves. It's coming to the end of my mint out of my garden. So I've got a bit of mint leaves there. Make them nice and small. And then taking our little knife again. Let's chop through them. You want to get, like I said, you want to get them as small as you can, because when they're really, really small like that, they're able to go through the slaw really well. So you don't have, you've got little pieces of the fresh herbs everywhere as opposed to big chunks of it. All right, I'm going to have a little bit of a turnaround. I want to see what's happening on the back here. Give me a second. I want to show you guys what's happening too, which means I'm going to teeter on the edge here. And you can see, oh my gosh, how's this feel? I'm looking at the people standing behind the camera. How's it for flavor? Smell. Caramelization. Can you guys see this? Look at that color. Oh, it's just wonderful. Flatten it out. Give it a bit of a turn. Back on to cook on the other side. We'll turn it up just a tad. Not much, just a tad. Just over medium now. I've got it on. Remember that cast iron holds heat really well. So we don't tend to cook with cast iron on the highest possible temperature setting, because it can get too hot and it'll start smoking. And I don't want the chicken to burn on the outside. I want it to spend time, in the pan, so we get that caramelization going on. Hence why medium, just above medium, I've just gone now, and we'll see how that works. All right, so we've got a lovely little slaw here that's kind of started its way, made its way into our hearts. You can even consider adding, if you want, if you do like a little bit of onion flavor in your slaw, but I would definitely only go for the green parts of the spring onion if you do decide to add it. And once again, it's a lovely color, obviously, but go nice and thin, and only the green parts. The white parts will be just, it'll be too full on, most definitely. All right, so just ideas for you guys. The recipe in the book is literally just cabbage and herbs. It couldn't get any easier than that, all right, cabbage and herbs. So I'll leave that up to you guys, whether you decide to add other ingredients or not. Just try and go for green leafy ingredients, with the one exception. Here's one more potential little addition. You can see what I've had sitting here on my bench the whole time. These are my pickled onions. Once again, if you are a long time viewer, user, observer of my recipes, I don't have to tell you how fabulous this is. These are good. There is nothing stopping you from taking out a little fork. I'll get a clean spoon. Always go into your pickle jar with clean utensils. Remember that as a little tip, because you don't want to compromise the onions and the vinegar in there. All right, so you could absolutely just go in there with a clean little fork and take out a few pickles. Why not? You know that's going to be fabulous. And then, of course, give it a bit of a mixture. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You're getting color through there. You're getting an amazing flavor as well. You get a lovely acidic flavor. And the other thing you are doing at the same time with that juice is you are dressing the slaw. 2 bites of the cherry. That's why we love pickles, right? You get 2 bites of the pickled cherry here, because you've dressed it, and you've added color, and you've added more flavor. Let's also add a bit of black pepper, nice grinding of black pepper. And I am going to be adding some sodium or some salt, some mineral salt here. Just a pinch of salt is going to go on there as well. How's our chicken doing? Let's have a look. It's sounding good. It's looking pretty awesome. I gotta tell you, You can see why I love this frying pan. Look at the results you can get. It smells like it's a barbecue in our house right now. Like it's, it smells so incredibly good. You get this wonderful flavor, this wonderful aroma, and it all happens while you've just made a bit of a slaw. So I'm going to be tuning that down right onto very, very low because we're pretty much finished now. Other way, pretty much low. No, that was low. That's low. Yeah. So thank you for your concern. He's like, don't burn my chicken. He thought I had it on high, but that's nice and low. Just to keep it warm. I want your dinner to be warm, you see? Right, good out, good out. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. It's called nori. I know you already know who nori is. Nori is a sea vegetable. It's usually the stuff that we find wrapped around sushi rice. It is also amazing when you put it through a coleslaw. So sea vegetables are really, really good for us. They help to boost metabolism. They help to give us natural iodine. It's also a very delicious and wonderful flavor. I'm just taking half a sheet, that's about a portion of slaw, by the way. So half a sheet per person, cutting it into a few little pieces. It's easier to use the old kitchen shears with this one as opposed to cutting, I find. And then you just go over top and you just cut some fine little shreds. Let me show you. Sorry. I get too excited sometimes, as you guys know. And just some fine little shreds of our lovely, fresh nori. And when you're picking nori, always remember the secret to picking nori is to make sure it's just seaweed, yeah? So look at the label, make sure it just says pure seaweed, and this one has been gently roasted, and that's all it is, and then pressed into, obviously, the shape that we have here. So just a bit of that, mix that through. Oh my gosh, if you're not salivating right now like I am, just by the thought of this, it is so incredibly good. All right, I'm going to turn it off now. No burnt chicken in the house. Because that would be terrible. Right, let's plate up. Where's the plate? Here we go. When I'm plating up, I always like to start with the biggest item on the plate, which is going to be our slaw. So that's going to go on first there. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And then we're going to go over to our chicken. And remember, you eat with your eyes. So just take it, just take an extra couple of minutes, or not even that. Take an extra 30 seconds. Oh, yummy. To make your plate, even if it's just for you, and especially if it's just for you. If it's your meal, you make sure that you create a little masterpiece for yourself. All right, that is looking good. Last thing that you want to think about, you could just stop now. You could literally just go for it, right? You could go, yes, there is my dinner. Terry, I don't know why I did that accent. I actually don't even know what that accent was. It had nothing to do with anything we're talking about tonight. But there you have it, plain and simple, right? Plain and simple. But as I was saying, just take that extra couple of seconds just to make it spectacular, just extra special, especially if it's for you, because you deserve it. And just knowing that, we do eat with our eyes, and food is, it starts with the smell and what our eyes are seeing before we move on to the mouth. Last little sneaky. Just a few white sesame seeds never hurt as well. And that is your dish. Now, before I go, very quickly, if you don't have pickled onions and you want to know how to make a dressing really simply, it is easy as. If you just want to leave out the onions, if you're not a fan of pickled onions, you can actually make the dressing. This is from the recipe in the book. It's really, really simple to make the dressing. You just need some apple cider vinegar, a couple tablespoons, like, you know, for a couple of people of apple cider vinegar. That's our acid. Also take just a little bit of ginger. You don't need much ginger. Now I've got freshly grated ginger here. Probably only need like, I think it's half a teaspoon I say in there, maybe even a quarter of a teaspoon just for a few people of your ginger goes in. Give it a bit of a swirl, just like that. And then to sweeten it, which is what's in the onions anyway, is our pure as inulin powder. And so to sweeten our inulin powder, our little dressing, we're just going to take, maybe I'm doing the other end because I don't want to dirty my inulin. We're going to take about a tablespoon of inulin, which is going to counteract, obviously, the vinegar, make it not so like, you know what it's like when it's really, 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 really tart. The inulin is there. Once again, you turned it into a prebiotic, but you've also taken away the tartness of that apple cider vinegar. It made quite a lovely little ginger dressing. Have a bit of a taste. If you want to, you know, add a bit of salt, add a bit of pepper. Completely up to you. If you think it's too sweet, add a bit more vinegar. If you think it's too tart, add a bit more of that inulin. And then just use this to dress your salad if you don't use the pickled onions. So there you go, my dears. I hope you have enjoyed this little cooking class as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I look forward to spending more time with you back here in the kitchen really, really soon. Until then, take care. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel. Join us over on Facebook as well. Join us on Pinstagram. I've invented a new one. That's Pinstagram. Pinterest. Join us on Pinterest. We are Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. We are also Bridget's Healthy Kitchen over on Instagram as well. Make sure you join us. Enjoy this. And I'll see you guys all real soon. Take care. Be well. Bye.